Well, hello again. Beautiful day. Storm has passed. We're on to another day. Just gonna mention for anybody out there doesn't happen to be a God believer, Bible believer in God mainly. What are the odds? That's what I kept thinking last night too. What are the odds that we would break down right on the hill here, outside this town? What are the odds that when we walk to a Walmart, of the hundreds and hundreds of people there, we would run into a Baptist preacher and his wife? What are the odds that that church is literally just down the road from where our broken RV sits? What are the odds that that church has a concrete pad with water, sewer, and hydro for an RV? I've never heard of a church having that. Maybe that's common, but I don't think so. What are the odds of that? What are the odds that they have a really good mechanic who has rebuilt piles of motors in their congregation? I don't think those odds are very good. Top that off, same faith as us. We're not Baptists, we're just conservative Christians. That's what we call ourselves, but there's definitely a lot of doctrine we would hold similar to these Baptists. Yeah, what are the odds that they have a chat on end times and that the sermon was just exactly what we need? Last night, it was Monday night, they are holding a, what do you want to call it? It's a college level course here in the church run by Faith Bible Institute. If you have never heard of that, I had never heard of it. If you haven't, look it up. FBI, Faith Bible Institute. And they're doing it's a 3-year course. It just keeps revolving. You can literally jump into this course anytime you want. They go through the Bible from Genesis clear all the way through to Revelations, again and again and again, over and over and over. So if you jump in right now, we were actually looking at Corinthians yesterday. Very, very interesting study. This course was free this night. Normally speaking, you have to pay for it. So we could attend here and see what it's all about for free. And then if we are interested in joining the course, I think it was $150 per semester or something. Don't quote me on that. It's all available online. And yeah, so we start in Corinthians. But if we were to start the course right now, we would then work from Corinthians through to Revelations and then begin again in Genesis, and we would carry on through back to Corinthians. And then that would be 1 year completed. And there's people that take this course multiple times, and I think that's wise because there's so much in there. So it was 3 hours long. I didn't know that. They just said they're having this thing here. You're welcome to come. So, okay. So Cora, Wes, and I sat there, and 1 hour went by, and then we had a break. Okay, break time. Well, must be more coming after the break. So then another hour went by, and there was another break. And I'm like, well, how long is this thing? So it was 3 hours. It was great. Met some good people there. There's 2 other large families. They're from the community or somewhere. I believe they go to a different church. One of them took my number. And he's very interested in having us over for social. I'm like, well, I have no way of getting there. Like, we're stuck here. Oh, no, we'd come pick you up. So, anyway, what are the odds of all that? I don't know. I'm not a gambling man. I believe in God. But if you don't, explain to me the odds of all those things just happening and falling into place without a God. I can't. Today we are working on the motorhome bit again. I actually just put some wooden blocks up inside so we can hang a jolly jumper for the baby. Maybe when Anissa gets Madeline in there, she'll take some video footage of that and add it to this.
Boing, boing, boing. This is the first time she's been in the jolly jumper. I think she likes it. Do you like it? I think so.
Other than that, we're taking off a few more pieces. Mechanic is going to come by at some point. He wants to take apart the motor side. That's where we're at. He's going to take off this stuff and the top end of the motor and work on that. I'm trying to get the exhaust stuff off. Pretty hard to see anything from in here, I guess. But that pipe, this pipe has to come off. So one side goes this way to a exhaust manifold, and one side goes that side to the other exhaust manifold. So this side we already had off because we replaced this exhaust manifold back in Montana. So those bolts are pretty easy. This exhaust flange, there's 4 bolts here. I just had those replaced in Arizona. So those 4 are pretty easy. This side, I don't know the last time it's been off. We're really struggling to get them out There's 3 nuts holding that particular pipe to the manifold, and I've got one of them off. The other 2 will not budge. So I'm going to work on them again. I soaked them in WD-40. Hopefully they loosened up. And then the exhaust manifold bolts themselves, I'm assuming are going to be extremely hard to get out as well. I do not want to snap those in there. The exhaust manifold on the other side should be okay. Oh, that's close. On that side should be okay because we just literally put it on. I don't think they'd be seized in yet. But this side here, like I said, I don't know when it's been on. So I'm working on that. Seems to be taking a long time. And then I don't know when Gordon's coming. Sometime. He's obviously got a busy schedule. He wasn't aware that we were going to break down here. Nobody told him. So he's got stuff that needs doing. He's out of the greatness of his heart, they're going to help us out. But of course, we're at liberty of his time schedule as well. So other than that, yeah, we're enjoying our stay here. It's been great. We feel loved, feel like we have something to do here. It sounds like they might have some construction work for me to do in that church, so I'll be looking forward to do that as well. And then yeah, it looks like we could use some whippersnipping or some grass mowing here or something. We might be able to help out with that if we can find the tools to do it, keep ourselves occupied. There is a animal, what do you want to call it, sanctuary here in town. I met one of the owners of it on Saturday. Yeah, last Saturday, it's a couple days ago. And basically they rehabilitate animals. Any animals that can't go back into the wild, to keep them there. But as much as possible, if they can get them fixed up, they re-release them into the wild. So they have some animals there to check out. I wouldn't mind walking down there. Aside from that, I have no idea what there is to do here in this town. And of course, we're stuck to walking distance. We have no vehicle, so wherever we can get. Nice thing is, grocery store is just down the road. It's a 9-minute walk. Walmart's like 14 or 15-minute walk. I don't know what else we would need. That's probably about it. Food. We have water, hydro, heat, everything else we need here. So, yep, life is good. I'm going to carry on trying to get these bolts off.
Easy, can you go that way? You're in the left.
These eaves, doesn't it? Thank you. Hey, that's another bug, isn't it?
It is. It's a praying mantis.
And he's trying to hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. See? Papa.
Just replace that condensing unit.
I wondered why he didn't want to run away. Look at him.
He's got his tail. He's got his tail. See that little green thing? That's a praying mantis. Is it an animal?
Yeah, well, it's a bug.
They look like they're praying, and they look like sticks. That's what I've read. Anyway.
Well, there's stick bugs.
That doesn't
I
look like
think
an
you're
animal.
thinking. You're in the light again. I can't see it.
Looks like a
It looks like a
that
leaf.
lizard, that green thing, that's a praying mantis, and he's trying to eat it. He's got it. He's got it. It's quite a meal to attack.
And that will also keep your engine.
Yeah, it looks like a leaf, a walking leaf. But he has legs. I can see his legs. But doesn't it look like a leaf?
It's gonna run great.
Now I just gonna let it die.
Then I keep it for a long time, right?
My wife's kind
Because you'll let it die and then you'll probably eat it. Oh, he just bit it so the blood comes out.
60,000
Not like the apple. That's...
unless somebody
He's probably going...
Alright, so that's an exhaust manifold. If you were with us back in Montana, you probably have a rough idea. This is the head. There's a valve cover. This is actually loose right now, but that's all inner workings of the valves. And then there's rods. You can see that round. I can't point at it, but there's a spring, and then behind that you see this round piece sticking up. That's a rod. And it basically moves a thing up and down like this, opening and closing valves. Okay, those valves are exhaust and intake. So the air gets sucked into the engine through this hole. This guy's supposed to sit in here, and then there's a pipe. So when they replaced your air filter, this is an air filter there, it sucks the air in to the air intake, and that air needs to get put into the pistons with the right mixture of fuel. It gets squirted in there, and then you have a spark. So the spark plugs go in these holes here. They're all out right now. and it gives a spark at the right time, so the timing is extremely important. Distributor cap has to do with the spark, and then timing chains up in the front. So obviously when the fuel and the air get sprayed in there, that's when you want your spark right after that. Kaboom, which makes the piston go down, which pushes on the crankshaft and gives you your power. I'm learning more and more about this all the time. Some of that stuff I already knew, but I'm starting to understand more of it now. And so these valves then open and close. So you want air to come in, and once the air is in, you want that part closed, and you're ready for the kaboom. You need the exhaust port open. And so that's what those valves take care of, those push rods. And the push rods and the valves all seem fine. It's the camshaft inside. So the camshaft, there's a top shaft and a bottom shaft. Camshaft's on top in this motor. I don't know if that's the case in all motors or not. The camshaft basically runs the timing of opening and closing the valves. It's hooked up to a timing chain up in the front here, and it needs to be set just right so that it opens and closes all these valves at the right timing. Pretty finicky, I guess, because there's 8 separate cylinders that all fire differently at a different time. And underneath that is another shaft. That's the crankshaft. So your pistons are actually hooked to the crankshaft. When it's turning, like I said, that drives the transmission, which is in here. And the transmission is hooked up. Let's see, that's the bottom of the transmission, and then you'll see a drive shaft. This pipe right there, when my thumbs put up against it, that's a drive shaft. It runs all the way to the back to the rear diff. It runs the tires. That's the pipe I just took off the manifold. And one from each side, and they go to the middle, the 4 bolts, and then it goes to the catalytic converter, which is right here. So we thought maybe we had a plugged cat. That's why I had these 4 off back in Arizona. In any case, now I got to get this off. This side will be the most complicated. The other side we just put on a brand new one, so I don't think it'll be too bad. This one here is going to be maybe a bit more problematic. There is 1 bolt missing, who's been missing as long as I know him. And then there's 2, 4, 6 bolts, 7 more bolts to take out. And hopefully they don't snap. That's going to be the biggest problem. If they break off, that's not fun. Now it is possible that we're going to need a new head. So this is the valve cover, this is the head. And then he's talking about getting 2 new ones of these, possibly. Depending, like, we'll send them away. If they're not warped, great. We'll use them. If they are warped, we'll need new ones. And that's $1,500 he figures for 2 of them. So hopefully we don't need all that stuff. Hopefully everything's just pretty simple. And then, you know, that keeps the cost down. So we got a little bit of a problem. The monsoons are really late here. In New Mexico, it is extremely dry. The view out this window should be green, but it's all brown down there because their monsoons haven't showed up. So the pastor's been praying for rain, and now it's coming. This is the 2nd day in a row where we've been facing some quite decent sized storm. I don't know if it'll show up there or not, really. Anyway, there's a decent storm coming, and we're likely gonna get a little bit wet, a little bit of wind. That's all right, except that we were hoping to get some more work done here. But the rain is needed, so we'll be thankful for that. And now once it passes, then we'll carry on with the work. So this is how we go get groceries right now. Well, not normally. I push. She just offered to take a turn and realized how heavy that thing is. couple cases of water and a whole bunch of stuff with the kid. And it don't look like much, but it's a long hill. So going to town, all the way to town is downhill. All the way back up is uphill. But we definitely need the exercise. Hey?
Feel the burn.
Need the exercise badly. But it's like, man, it's tiring. But now you get to, now you know what I go through to feed my family.
And we appreciate every minute of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Go for it.
You done? How are you, buddy? Yeah.
I am.
You having fun? Good.
Here.
Man, I really hope you know what you're doing.
You don't want to have to put it back together? Put what down? You have some? Yeah. Okay, yeah, we could. Okay, so we got her all apart. That's the inner workings. Haven't visibly seen anything yet. So.
Spin it. Oh, come on.
All right, good evening. We are done. I don't know if you can tell in my eyes, I'm tired. I don't know what it is. I used to be able to stay up a long time, but not anymore. Closed it all up for the night. So no snakes get up in here. I'm a little worried about rattlesnakes coming up in my bed. So it's all closed up, but so far we haven't really found any problems in there at all. Everything's coming out looking good. It is gunked up. So I knew that the oil was really nasty when we bought it. So we've changed the oil a number of times now, but it was really, really gross, thick stuff in there. So that didn't help matters any. But other than that, there's really no visible damage anywhere in the engine yet. He's thinking now that it's most likely the oil pump. Well, he was already hinting at that yesterday. He wondered about it. But we won't really know until we tear it down. So we have to just keep tearing everything down. The whole top's apart. Tomorrow we're going to take the transmission off, and that'll allow us to lift the block out of there. And then we can drop the oil pan off. He's got an engine stand here. We'll bolt it on there. We can take the oil pan off, spin it around, and have a look at that. So anyway, it'll be fun. I've never done anything like this. I'm really enjoying it, actually. And I'm glad he knows what he's doing. I've utmost confidence. He really seems to know exactly what he's doing. So that's good. So that's the update for that. We're also going to do a little bit of work in the church. That's been given the go-ahead. So we're going to feel good about getting back at work. We're going to see how much we can get done tomorrow morning before anybody shows up. And the boys are playing around with the lawnmower as well, so they got a little bit of stuff mowed. So it's kind of nice to be able to give back. So, yeah, it's a good way to bless others. So that's about it for today. Hope you enjoy the video. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. We've got quite a bit of growth actually the last week here again, and hopefully we can carry on that momentum. So we'll catch you guys all next one.
How to reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along.